Hey, welcome back to Album April. It's April 19th, and today I checked out To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar has released one independent album, 3 studio albums, and a 4th one coming up in May. His 3rd album, To Pimp a Butterfly, is often regarded as his best. It also happens to be the most recent album of all 30 I'm listening to this April, being released in 2015. Hot take, groundbreaking opinion, I like Kendrick Lamar. He's a really good rapper, songwriter, and lyricist. I've heard a few songs from both Good Kid, Mad City and Damn, but not any from To Pimp a Butterfly. So this was all new territory for me. My first impression is that I can understand why this wasn't really conducive to hit singles, because this all is very much like an album statement. A lot of these songs are connected to each other, and one thing that they did a few times is that they would play a snippet of Kendrick talking, not rapping, talking at the end of the songs, and it was a phrase, and like each time you heard it, you hear a little bit more of it. It started out with, you were conflicted, you were using your influencer in a bad way, something along those lines, and it kept going. And at the very last song of the album, Mortal Man, which is 12 minutes, you actually figure out who Kendrick is talking to. Like, the second 2/3 of Mortal Man is a conversation between Kendrick and another person, and I didn't recognize this other person's voice, but I looked it up later, and that's the voice of Tupac. I was confused because Tupac is far too dead to be making guest appearances on albums nowadays, but apparently this was an excerpt from an obscure interview he did in the 90s. The working title for this album was apparently To Pimp a Caterpillar, which kind of makes the acronym Tupac. When it comes to content, Kendrick Lamar seems to be having an existential crisis in this album. There's a lot of questions like, am I really doing what's best with my platform? Are the people that are here for me now going to stay there when times get tough? Did I break free from where I came from, or am I just trapped in a different way? Most of these questions are not answered, they're just kind of left to hang there. Out of all the songs on To Pimp a Butterfly, my favorite was These Walls, which is a song that kind of goes back to the question I said earlier about being trapped in a different way. It's catchy, it's well made, and it tells an interesting story. And for what it's worth, this didn't inform my opinion. I made this opinion before I found out. These Walls is apparently Kendrick's favorite song from To Pimp a Butterfly. Another good song was All Right from the album. And listening to Mortal Man was just fascinating at the very end. It started out with a song about, like, him feeling like when things go wrong, he's gonna end up alone. But then we get that audio clip of Kendrick talking, and it plays out, and then we get into the quasi-interview with Tupac. Some of the topics discussed include the existential dread that was previously mentioned all throughout the album, and we also get a full expansion on the main metaphor of the caterpillar and the butterfly. The caterpillar is supposed to represent that kid growing up in the inner city, learning new ways to survive, and the butterfly is the talent within that caterpillar that comes through once they make it big as a rapper. And from the outside, the caterpillar is shunned while the butterfly is praised, even though they're the same thing, just at different points in their life cycle. I'll be honest, there weren't any songs in To Pimp a Butterfly that I didn't like. It was all very interesting. It wasn't the most fun to listen to at times, but that's because it's kind of a dark album. But it's not dark just for the sake of being dark, it's dark because it wants to bring forward social issues. I think at this point it goes without saying, To Pimp a Butterfly absolutely holds up. This is one of the best albums I listened to for this entire month so far. Kendrick Lamar is a captivating performer, and he uses that talent and intelligence very well in this record. Empirically, Kendrick Lamar is not satisfied with just being rich and famous. He wants to use that power to make a difference in the world. And that absolutely comes through in albums like To Pimp a Butterfly. Alright, thank you guys for listening. I'll see you tomorrow.